Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. I've got a special guest I want to introduce. Everybody, I think, knows him, but I'm gonna introduce him anyway. He's our newest editor of the Commonwealth Journal. Mr. Steve Cornelius is with us today, and I have asked Steve to open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you all please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Also want to just let you know before we open our meeting, our magistrate, Jimmy Wielden, is back in the hospital today, so not with us. So please keep Jimmy in your prayers as he's still trying to fight this illness he's got, but we're going to keep praying for him if you do that, please. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of our previous meeting. I do have one change that I need to make. Item number 11 on the minutes. It should be a 3-year term that will end on 6/29 of 24 instead of a 4-year term.
Steve, number 3 there, says Wilson made the motion and seconded it. Change that.
Okay, so that should read then Wilson made the motion and Strunk seconded it?
I'll go back and
That'd
find
be
it.
fine.
Yeah, I'll go back and find it.
Okay, so at least she'll correct that. So we'll have those 2 changes. Any other changes or additions or deletions? Not, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept with changes?
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Nothing in old business to discuss. In new business, we've got a few things. First, we have Mark Vaught would like to approach the court.
Mark?
Thank you.
Huh?
We'll share.
Yeah, I got one for you. I don't need one.
Thanks, sir.
Mark, can you get me one?
I'm sorry?
Can you get me one to put in the minutes?
I thought you gave it to Joan.
You can have this one, yeah, for the, yes, she keeps the
I didn't know
official.
who got the record. Sorry. First page shows the turnout for the election. I mean, we voted 15,329 in this last election cycle. 500 voted during the mail-in and early walk-in, which was the 8-day period where we voted 6 days. The early voting is going to be open to 3 days when the voting centers were open, as well as Shopville and Nancy on Saturday. That's a little light, in my opinion. On the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items, that's election day voting. We voted over 10,700 on that day. You are. Okay. We had 7 sites. In 2018, for example, or 2019, the last pre-COVID year, we have 56 precincts voting in 42 different locations. We sent out 168 machines that day. And we voted, that was the governor, so we probably didn't vote as many that time as this time. This time, we sit there and voted 10,000 on election day in 7 locations with approximately 20 machines and 72 people. I had 256 people the other time. This time we spent $28,000 paying the election workers. In 2019, we probably paid $45,000 to $47,000. Is that right, Joan?
Right off the top of my head, it's probably yes.
So, like I said, that was over 1 day. That's over 1 day of voting. This is over 4 days of voting. We spent $28,000. About half of it was for early voting and half of it was during election day. The next 2 pages is the turnout. In 2018, the primary, Pulaski County voted 14,317 people. This time we voted 15,329. Both of them right at 30%. In 2018, we voted 22,350, so we're expecting around 23,000. I expect 23,000 in November. I hope we have a lot more people use the early voting places, because that was awful lot in my opinion. That's what I hope to do. This time we had a couple of precincts that actually ran out of ballots. They ran out of ballots at that precinct. We've got enough ballots. Overall, we didn't run out of ballots, but we didn't have them in the right place at the right time. We had like I said, we had a reserve up at the warehouse. We had to sit there, and I think they reported at 2:19. They ran out of ballots at 3:19. We had the ballots back to them, so we had a little hour lapse, and there were several people who I don't know if they turned her away or what, but they didn't get to vote at the time they wanted to. They could have voted them on the what is it called? The duo standalone. They could have sat there and did it that way, but they chose not to. They voted the regular way with the printed ballot. Nancy ran out of ballots. You didn't hear nothing about that because we had a printer out at Nancy. They ran out of A110, I think it was. I mean, they sit there and they'd print 10 at a time, and when they run out those, they sit there and print 10 more, so I didn't even know they ran out till the next day. I mean, so what I want to do now is sit there and buy printers for all voting centers. I've got 4 now, and I think I need to vote. I need at least 4, maybe 5. And the last 2 pages are my bids. They're expensive pieces of equipment, but it's a totally, what we did in 2020 is not like we did in 2022, even though it appeared the same. In 2020, we only had 18 ballot faces. In the 4th precinct, whatever, we've got 6 precincts that had the same ballot face. So what we had to do then, we had to have 2 different ballot faces, one for the Democrats, one for the Republicans. And those 6 precincts could sit there and vote on those ballots. This time we had to have 198 different ballot faces for every potential combination. I mean, even though we only had 2 different Democrat ballot faces the entire county, we had to have 56 plus, we had to have 66 different ones, because we had to have one for either precinct, and some of the city ones had to have their own special ballot. So instead of having 21 different ballot faces, we had to have 198 different ballot faces. So each one of my voting centers had the capability of voting anybody. Take Dallas is the one I like to use. Dallas has 22 Democrats, 202 Republicans. They got 9 others now. They used to have 6. So in order to vote those 9 people at any of my voting centers, as well as Shottville, I had to have 9 ballots each, right? That's not the case. They get 3 chances. So the 9 becomes 27. So instead of having 27 at Shottville, I had to have 27 at Shottville, I had to have 27 at Rocky Hollow, I had to have 27 at Hal Rogers, I had to have 27 at South Kentucky. So now my 9, which is 36, becomes 108. Like I said, and I had to get them in books of 25, at least I can get, so I had to order 100. I ordered 100 for 9 people is what I ordered, basically. Like I said, and this happens more than you want to, more than you can imagine. Good Hope, Hazeldale, well, that's not a bad one. Hickory Nut's got 8 independents. Ansell's got 9 independents. So with these printers, I don't have to sit there and ship 25 ballots out there to each one of my voting centers. So instead of having to order 100, I can basically send none, and like I said, they can print them on the spot. And I could have done that for probably 40 different ballot faces. I wouldn't have had to stock 198 ballot faces. I only had to stock basically 150 or 140 maybe. I don't know. I just, you can whittle it down as you look at them. I've got, even in the city, I've got 13 people who vote independent at C104. I had to sit there and put 25 at each one. That's 100 for 13 people. So I can get rid of those. Anyway, the list goes on and on. I can sit there and reduce the number of potential ballot faces I have to have at a precinct. And with the printer, every voting place becomes a voting center. That means you can go to any of those 7 places and vote on election day. Before, my three voting centers was the only place anybody could go to vote in any of the counties. My other 4 was restricted to certain different precincts. I had 6 out at Shottville, I had 6 out at Nancy, I had 8 at Oak Hill. So, I restricted the number of people who could vote there. With these printers, I can able to open up all my voting centers to all people. So you don't have to sit there and say, well, you gotta vote here. You can vote anywhere you want to on election day or the early voting. And that's why I want the printers, so I can expand that capability.
By having these printers, Mark, would it, cut down on the materials and supplies that we have to
Yes.
purchase from
Yes.
HARP? There's your,
Pike County sit there and had 17 voting centers. They ordered 187,000 ballots on that day, and they've got a little less than 10,000 people what we've got. We ordered 57,000 for 50,000 voters. I went over a little overboard, but I had to because of the Dallases and whatever. I had to sit there and order enough to have, if the whole family's independent and I all go to Rocky Hollow to vote, I gotta have enough for them to vote there. Or if, one goes here, one goes there, it's just a precarious situation. I don't know, I can sit there and talk to you all day long about it. E103, I've got one person who lives in the city of Somerset at 169 Slate Branch Road. There's no voters there, but I still had to sit there and supply ballots for those people. I had to supply a Republican, a Democrat, and an Independent because I didn't know how they were. If somebody moved in there and, they come to vote election day, I had to have a ballot for them. So, I had to have 3 of each. So I had to order 25. I ordered the books, what I ordered, and I divide up into 6 each one. So, I had to order 75 ballots for that one address. Like I said, with this printer, I can do away with that. Of course, the ballots are cheap, but, the thing of it is, maybe this will sit there and do away with the lawsuit. I don't know. Can we do a lawsuit over election for that kind of money, Martin?
We could.
Huh?
Yep.
$30,000? Okay, maybe. But I don't want the embarrassment and pain. Any
Nice.
questions? I'm sorry?
I do, I got questions. When they had this same kind of printer down in Nancy to print,
They did.
and that's one we already had?
We've got 4.
We got 4.
We got 4.
And they're exclusively for voting, or?
Yes,
Is there
yes.
other purposes they can be
You cannot
used
use them for nothing else. They got special wire to connect them to the machine. I can't even go to the Office Depot and buy that wire. It's I don't know, it's got a special, it's a USB port just like anything else, but a regular USB cord won't work.
for? Okay, now you got 2 bids here.
That's right. I don't know whether, I've got 7 voting centers now. I hope to find an 8th.
Okay. With the amount being over $20,000, which is our requirement for putting it out for bid, we only got 1 bid from HARP. Is that the only company that does
No,
this?
that's, Martin, how does that work? They're my supplier now.
Harp that
Yes.
does the training?
Harp is my election machine supplier. He said I don't have to sit there and put it out for bid. They're my exclusive contractor, whatever. Is that right?
We don't have to put it out for bid if it's over
You
20,000?
gotta bid it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Danny told me I
Unless
didn't
you-
have.
Are they under state contract?
Yeah,
State contract.
Probably under
Yeah,
state
unless they've got a
contract.
contract through the state.
That's not what I
Are there
had.
different
I could've said
companies?
that. No, they're the same company.
No.
Professional
Are there
service.
different companies that,
There's one
Harp is,
exception.
pardon me?
There is an exception on, sole,
Somebody that provides all the services?
yes.
Yeah.
In our-
The only one, like, for instance, HARP, since we have their machines, if these printers only work with those
They're hard
machines,
interci- they're hard
they're sole
intercivic.
proprietor,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think you can go out and buy the printers from someone else.
No.
And they be compatible with
No.
Harps.
Correct.
Under those circumstances, you don't have to bid it out.
that's what I was told by Danny. It's,
Okay, so we're safe on not bidding it out, okay. And the next question is, so what's the difference in these 2 bids? Because they're $6,000.
5 and 1, there's 5 in one and 4 in the other. I don't know whether I want to do 4 or 5. Like I said, I hope to sit there and have an 8th voting center. The 7, I've got 4 now, and I need a minimum of 4. one for each of my voting centers, put me at 7, and one for the office, that puts me at 8.
You need the
More, like I
eighth
said, I've got enough equipment to man another voting center if I can find someplace, and then, and that's what I hope to do, because we're gonna vote another, I think it was 46% what voted in 18, so I'm expecting another 16%. I'd like to have another voting center somewhere if I can find a suitable place.
Need one down Burnside.
I'm trying to find one. You find me one yet?
Hey, Mark,
I asked you last time, yes.
you do a good job.
I try hard,
You
Dan.
You do a good job, I just
The
gotta
only
follow
thing
through on the
that-
question.
We have heard, and Mike has just mentioned it, rural people.
Yeah,
And when I say that, Woodstock, Hazeldale, Blue John, Colo, Mount Victory.
I opened up shop on Saturday. Had 106 people vote there. That tied up a machine, and I only got, well, my limiting factor in all this is my e-poll books. I only got 74 of those, and 2 of them don't work now, so I'm down to 72. I cannot use the same e-poll books I use for early voting I can for election day. I've got to change those out. So every time I open up I had 5 at Shottville. That, I had 7 at Rocky Hollow, I had 7 at Hal Rogers, and I had 7 at South Kentucky. That's 21, that's 42 of my 70 right there.
But I guess my thing is what I heard Hazeldale, for example, people live up around Crab Orchard 70. It's 23 miles
I understand that. Believe me, I understand that.
to get.
Like I said, but we opened up Northern Elementary. The last election only had 300 people vote there. I mean, I've got. I'd love to. I mean, and Linda wanted me to open it up, like I said, but we only had. The trouble is with these rural locations is they're rural. If I opened up, that's the trouble I'm having with Burnside right now. I've got 5 precincts down there. I've got my 2 Bronsons. I've got Burnside City, and I've got Stones Valley, and I've got Gambling. That's all they can serve. I said, if you're coming from Bronson to vote in Burnside, are you going to turn right to go to Burnside, or are you going to turn left to go up to South Kentucky? Which one would you do, Mike? I mean, you go up to South Kentucky, eat lunch, vote early. That's the problem. Like I said, in Stones Valley's got 600 people, Gambling's got 14, that's 2,000, and the city of Burnside has got 500, that's 2,500 people. I had 42 out at Shotwell, I had 42 out at Nancy. And, that's the number I like to get, it's about 4,000 people. That's when I want to open one up. Just like at Northern Elementary, I only have a Good Hope Hazeldale, I've got 1,300 people voting out there. Where else am I going to draw from? I can draw from Price. Price is just easy to go down to the Hal Rogers it is, go up to Northern, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the problem I've got. Like I said, and they're not coming over from Essensburg. I mean, they go down to, I just sit there, you got to plan these places out. Like I said, and I got to have a big enough facility. Woodstock is a great place. I love to open it up. I really would. But like I said, I just got to have people there. It's I don't know.
And nothing's perfect, and if we waited to make a decision to avoid any criticism, nothing would be done. But I just had heard that from Mount Victory. Why can't they vote at Mount Victory Fire Department?
Mount Victory, I've got.
White Lily.
White Lily or White Lily School. That's just input. That's not criticism.
Mount Victory, I've got 427 people out there. I gotta have 4 people out there at $700. I mean, each one of these little places, it costs $700 just to man those places. I said, I did it, used to do it with 256 people, now I did it with 72.
Well, here's the thing I have on that. I had people call me the day of election, didn't hear of any way for them to know where to go vote. They went to White Lily. And
That was our fault.
somebody put a sign up that said, hey, you can't vote here, you gotta go over here. And to me, they were saying they were disfranchised, they didn't wanna go all the way to town to vote. We did not get the word out to everybody.
That's correct.
And that was a big issue that we had. And then, there was other issues with, I know one particular lady that went to vote at Shopville. She lives in my district, but she was told she had to vote in the 3rd district, which she already did. She went ahead and filled out the ballot, and then I checked on it after the fact and found out, yeah, she lives in the 4th district, so.
That,
And her husband was able to vote in the fourth, but she got stuck voting in the third.
well, like I said, at that point, when you sit there and get handed the wrong ballot, you go back to the person, say, I've got the wrong ballot, they should call in. That's my worker's fault. That's training. I mean, you know, they rely too much on my e-poll books. I had the same problem at C-104. The first 15, 20 people, 27 people, I think it was, who come in Meese Middle School to vote for the city, they were handed county ballots. You know, and that went on for a day. I
Well,
mean,
they couldn't get them fixed. Once they
that
voted,
was
there
10X's
nowhere to go.
problem. That's my supplier's problem. I mean, like I said, we tried to fix it, but again, that's training, you know, they're hesitant to call. I mean, they believe that e-poll book instead of us.
We need to figure a way to get the information out to everybody.
Well, that's.
I
we
mean, the
just-
newspaper, Facebook, there's only so many limited there, and there was people that didn't know what was going on.
We could send them a letter. Letter's gonna cost us $50,000. Like I said, and we still had the same amount of people vote 30% as we did in 18. I mean, you say it's, I don't know, I don't, there's no perfect solution.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying it's something that came up during the election.
Yeah,
We need
like I
to-
said, I mean, if you wanna authorize me to send a letter, you know, give me $50,000 and I'll get your letter out to every person voting.
Well, you don't have to do every household. Just a general community thing or something like that, but
So you wanna send out, I
for
don't know how
every
many,
voting, for every registered household. That would cut down the expenses.
Mark, here again, you do a good job.
Yes.
People don't realize the amount of time you put into this. Just in looking at it is, if it's 14 miles of driving discrepancy, make sure, just look at it, make sure it's fair all the way around the county.
like I said, you know, it's,
And that was, someone has said, well, just make sure it's fair all the way around the county. If I gotta drive 14 miles one way, there and back, make sure it's equal throughout the county. And I didn't even look at it that way. And sadly, with today's gas prices, it
Yes.
does affect people.
well, I mean, and there's another thing is that there's I'm glad you mentioned that. I told Linda we need to pay the postage for these absentee ballots, cause it's $1.15. I mean, we only got $800-900, you know, talking less than $1,000-1,500 to pay the postage for them to mail it back in. That way they don't have to go out and get a stamp. I mean, you know, I don't have any stamps at the house. I mean, who has a stamp at the house? Like I said, most of them, they'll put a stamp on it, send it back, and we'll have to pay 70 cents anyway to get postage back. I don't know how much she spent, so I'd like to ask that in the fall, that the incoming absentee ballots, you know, have the postage paid by the county. I mean, I think it's a small price to pay for, and like I said, nobody used them. Like I said, you see 512 people voted. I mean, I think that's what's on there, 512 people voted early. You know, 95 of them walked in. So, you know, we had 400 or so vote, you know, by mail. The problem with that, everybody's worried that they don't do it right, and a lot of them don't do it right. We've got a lot of rejections. A lot of people don't sign both sides of the envelope. You know, that's a valid concern. Voting by mail is very easy. You call in, so I need a ballot, they ship it out to you, they ship it back. You know, it's got its problems as everything else does. That's why you don't have those, okay, never mind. There's most of the overvotes. An overvote is where somebody will sit there and check two boxes at the same time, and they'll vote them anyway. A lot of my overvotes were a result of absentee ballots. When we get them, and we can sit there and tell what they mean to vote, we'll sit there and we'll spoil that ballot, and fill out, and the judges will fill out a new ballot for those overvotes. A lot of times we just can't determine how they want to vote, so they get voted anyway, and that's what causes an overvote. It's not where too many people voted at a precinct, it's where the person votes too many times on their ballot. So that's, somebody asked me that on election day, and I didn't know, and I had to find that question out. But,
I've got a question for you, Mark. If you have a printer at every voting center, and let's say Nancy's goes down, how do you handle that if people are coming there to vote and the printer won't print for whatever reason? Do you have to print things at another place?
that's why I want an extra one, so I can have a spare.
So, okay, and they don't have to be set up for that voting center. They just plug in.
They're set up for each election. Like I said, and if the printer's only thing goes out, we'll have a spare printer. Like I said, I hope we don't have more than one go out. But like I said, you know, it's not an ideal situation. That's why even if I don't get an extra voting center, I like to have two extra, just one for I have a spare or two. I like to have spare machines. The loan probably his ballot, license in his wallet. By the time he went to vote, it got wet on the edge. When he put it in there, it tore the machine and broke the machine. So it was temporarily unavailable. We had a spare there. They had it set up, and I didn't know about the problem till after they were already up and running again. That's why I had two machines at each one of my voting centers. Of course, it helped with the lines. I didn't realize that we was going to vote over 10,000 people on election day. 10,749 is what I said. Is that what I said? Anyway, like I said, so I do have spares, and that's why I have spares, because we do have problems. And the older these machines get, the mean time between failures is going to increase. But that's the only problem I had with a machine on election day was that one person, like I said, and I had a tech here, and we sent him out there, and they were up and running within 20 minutes.
I have one other question. How much would these printers save in other expenses?
We're not going to
Would the expenses be saved, like you said, printing and all that, of the ballots and stuff? If we can do it, it'll cost us less money?
Well, the ballots cost me $30 per 100.
Okay.
Ordered 57,000, so they cost $17,210 or something like that. That's what we spent on ballots. So I mean, you know, we're spending $30,000. I mean, you know, you have to buy paper, you have to buy toner. I mean, it is not a savings issue. It's a availability issue, and we'll have all my voting centers. I won't have the confusion I did. You know, you can't vote here, so we'll just sit here and we'll print you out a ballot. You know, that's my ideal situation. You walk in somewhere, can I vote here? Yes. Give me your ID. Oh, we have to print you a ballot. Boom. 30 seconds later, you're voting.
So you're talking about making all these voting precincts, just you can go anywhere in the
Yes,
county and vote?
on election day.
On election day, you can
Yes.
go anywhere in the county you want to
Yes.
vote?
If you're at Nancy, like I said, if you're at Nancy and want to vote, you know, before you couldn't vote at Nancy because they restricted to my 6 precincts out there. Everything west of the river is what voted at Nancy. Now, if I want to go out there and vote on election day, I live in town, they'll have my ballot. They won't have my ballot, but they can print it out for me.
So if you work in Nancy but live in Whiteville, you can still vote in Nancy?
Yes, like I said, and that's the problem I had on election day. Like I said, I had to have 198 each one of these ballots at each one of my places. Nobody went to Hal Rogers and voted from Burnside. I mean, you know, my E-table up there, they didn't have enough traffic, you know, they couldn't, I don't know, they could take a nap and nobody would bother them. Because nobody went from my 5th district, went up to Hal Rogers and voted. Same thing, nobody in the 2nd district went down to South Kentucky and voted. We shut down, we combined the 1 and 2 and 3 table in one, and I had 2 5 tables down there. I'm talking about, when I say 5 tables, I'm talking about 5th district. You know, we had so many 5th district voters down there, we had to sit there and open up a second ballot. You know, the bulk of my people at South Kentucky was in my 4th and my 5th districts. You know, I had a couple of ones, because I've got A106, which is Firebrook, you know, they voted there, and,
So you think you need 5?
I would like to have 5, because like I said, that would give me 2 spares. Even if I don't open up another voting center, if I find someplace in Burnside, you know, I'd be more than happy to do that. I'm always looking. I mean, you know, I've looked the world over and I can't find a place to
I'll
vote
make
there.
a motion for 5.
We got a motion from second Turpin and a second from Strunk to purchase 5 printers.
And another thing is, I pay the election workers $12 an hour during early voting, and on election day, they get $127.50 for 12 hours. I'd like to increase that to $14 an hour so $150 for election day and $47.50 for my school, so they get, I don't know, $197.50 or $200. I like to make it even, so, you know, they're getting paid uniform across the thing.
Let's make that a separate motion.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm sorry, you need to vote now, okay.
So we've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the printers? All in favor? Is there any opposed? Okay, motion carries, and then you're asking to raise them.
On election day, like I said, I spent $13,000, so you're talking, we'll probably have 85 voters, so 85 times 12 times 2, $24, is that $2,000, that extra $2,000? Is that where that works out to be?
I don't know. You got a calculator? 85 times 12 times 2. I'm not as quick as you, Mark.
Huh?
Say 14 times 12?
No, $2 extra. They're already getting paid $127.50. I'm gonna bump it up. They get $175, so it's $25 times 80 people, so it's $2,000 what it is.
You're just raising an hourly rate, is that what you're
Well,
doing,
I
or a
mean,
daily rate?
I'm gonna make the election day flat fee. I take that back. What I do, I expect them there at 5:30, and they work till 6:30. That's 12, 13 hours. I don't know what that is. I have to pay them $200 for that period there. Like I said, had a lot of them come in there because it was so intensive. I mean, you know, they counted ballots for hours. That's what we had the problem with, is Rocky Hollow. I made a mistake, and I had a retired CPA down there, so he wanted to count every ballot, and that's why it took him 2 hours. They spent 2 hours down there counting ballots. Like I said, we had the results at, you know, at 6:30. We could have been gone at 7:15, but they sit there and they counted the ballots before they brought the results in there. So I gave them a couple extra dollars because they spent an extra hour down there. You know, I had one guy work 18 hours down there, so I'm not going to pay him the same as I do. I gave him that more money because he spent 18 hours in there. I had 2 or 3 come in early at 4:30 to get everything ready. You know, my ballots. My ballots is what's killing us because the state's requiring us to sit there and do individual precinct level reporting. Before, it was just, you know, you sit there and all we got was the vote total for the entire county. Now, as you can see on these last little things, I mean, you know, we've got exactly how many people voted. Before, we used to have absentees. The absentees were clumped together because we couldn't differentiate them out. This time, you know, if you come in there and voted early or by mail, you didn't get an absentee ballot, you got an actual precinct ballot, the same ballot you got on election day. So that way we can sit there and tell individual precinct levels. So, I mean, that's one of the results, and that's one of the problems. But, did y'all vote on that, or?
We're trying to figure out what the motion needs to be, I believe.
You're not changing the ones that work with the polls early, the $12.
They're getting paid $12 an hour now.
Correct. Are you raising that also?
No.
Okay, that was where I was.
I'm making everything $12 an hour. I mean, election day, $12 an hour. They're just getting paid $10 an hour is what they're getting. They're getting $127.50 for 12 3/4 hours.
I
That's basically what I did.
understand.
So I'm just making them a $12 an hour. I'm raising them to $12 an hour as well, because, you know, you work 3 days for 12, then 1 day for 10. I mean, that's.
We
Right.
need a motion then to allow you to pay them $12 an hour on election.
Yeah, like I said, I go from 175 to 200. I think that's the easiest thing to do on election day. My election day base pay. How's that?
Motion.
Motion by Turpin,
Second.
second by Rancho. Alicia, did you get that motion figured out? All right. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
One more thing. Y'all gonna let me pay for the postage on the return ballots for mail-ins?
Motion.
Motion by Rancho. Second. Second by Strunk. We have any further discussion? All in favor?
Nah.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any questions, gentlemen?
Is that something that's,
Did we vote to
a
raise
lot of
the-
people do that?
Yes, the second one. I don't know.
Buying the printers?
Don't care. That's what we're gonna do.
Mark, thank you for all your hard work. I see how much time you put in.
Well, I mean, I'm already sitting there getting my speech together for my workers on election day, because we had a couple little problems, and like I said, I'm gonna chew them out good. Maybe we won't have, I like to avoid lawsuits. Like I said, I don't want that. You don't know how many people have no idea what's going on. I had a gentleman who sat there and he said he wanted to go back to the paper books. He said, that way, you know, you can verify. When you sign it in, all you're saying is, I'm here. We don't verify by signature. We verify by driver's license, whatever. So, you know, there's a lot of misconceptions out there. People just have no idea what's going on. I mean, and I had one gentleman wanted to sit there and his ballot hand counted. Can you imagine hand counting 15,000 ballots? I mean, we spent all day when Doc did it and only got 4 precincts done. I mean, if you sit there and hand count every ballot in the county, I mean, it just, and I don't care how good the human eye is, you know, the computer can do it so much faster and so much better, you know, and you got a judgment call over squiggles, stuff like that, and it just, it's a mess, and I'm gonna rattle on, I'm gonna appreciate you guys, and thank y'all.
Thank you, Mark.
You got the extra copy, right?
All right. Next item then will be our second reading of the administrative code. You've got a copy of that. It's been advertised. That
There's the agenda, be done with it.
we have a motion to accept the administrative code as presented. We need to do that this month, right?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item then is approval of the fiscal year salary schedule.
Motion.
Wait, just one moment, please, Mike. There is one change on there, that didn't get changed. It is for the county attorney's secretary. For some reason, it didn't come over properly. Instead of 41,476, it should be 43,560. If you all will make that. It's under J. Trey, Alicia, kind of in the middle, at the near the bottom.
What was it, 43?
43,560 is the correct number.
Motion with the change.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, a second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, I've got a few personnel to do. First, I swore in this past week Josh Whitus is our interim EM director. He's working part-time currently, but I need to have the court to ratify that appointment. Have a motion to do that.
Is this only until the end of the year?
It's interim. It could be,
Discretion of the judge.
Yeah, so it could be changed at the end of the year.
It's discretion of the judge.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
motion by Wilson, a second by Turpin. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Then we have, at our 911 center, we've got one of our employees retiring. I need to advertise for a full-time dispatcher.
Motion.
Motion by Wilson, second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, we're on 911. Is there, two things. We need to appoint a director.
We will probably do that next time. I've spoken with Marshall Todd about that. We just want to make sure that we get somebody that he's comfortable with. And so we'll
Okay.
probably do that next time.
And-
If the person we're talking to is available.
And I would like to make a motion that we disband the county police and let that be something that we don't need. It can be appointed some other way for 911. So I want to make a motion that we actually disband the county police.
Motion?
Let's let Marshall look at that and see what we need to do.
Don't lose
If
continuity
he
to
thinks we
911.
need to, that'll be good.
Okay.
But we need to,
I just believe it's something that we can do. We can get that 911 taken care of elsewhere, like through the 911 board or something.
No, we can't. You can't do that, Mark. If you educate yourself a little bit, it's an administrative title only. And if you remember,
Yeah, if we.
you made a motion to perform it because we can maintain control, fiscal court can maintain control of the personnel at 911.
But
It's
there's only-
administrative only.
But there's only 3 county police forces in the whole darn
It's
state.
got nothing to do with,
Yeah.
you're convoluting and muddying the water. It's to maintain, for fiscal court to maintain control of the personnel, because if not, it has to go under a credentialed, Department of hit me that acronym. DOCJT. Yeah. As it is right now, thankful for the county attorney, it's under his office and his credential. He's willing to do that.
Okay.
But going forward, they require that agency to be supervised by someone that is certified through the DOJCT. It's got nothing to do with accounting.
So is that something that can be done permanently? Through your office?
Me? Yeah, other county attorneys' offices do it, and it's
Because we gotta
renewable every year.
Because we got a certified officer at the Attorney General's office, right?
Well,
Or at your office.
my agency is, for purposes of that, is considered a police agency, law enforcement agency.
So there's absolutely, there's a spot there that says that with you taking care of it, we don't need a county police department. And to come back to
Maybe.
you,
Maybe, maybe not.
to come back to you, you guys try to put park security underneath the county police force, and when you guys said it was only going to be for 911 purposes.
No, Mark, you're here again.
No, I'm right, we had that
You're about
discussion.
as drama as drama can be.
Let's,
Our
tell you what,
remarks.
Go on.
he's got a motion, or you wanting to wait on your motion? 'Cause I think,
I'll wait,
okay.
I'll wait at this point, so,
Let that-
but it's just something that we need to look at.
I would say let your incoming judge make that decision. He may want to keep it. Next, I have Andrea Scales and Beverly Haynes. I would like to move them to assistant TAC. We don't have anybody filling that role right now. 911 shift supervisor and they're on day shift, and they're
Each shift requires someone that's tax certified because they handle the NCIC information that if someone comes to the sheriff's office in the middle of the night, the deputy fills it out and that person has to handle it and put it in the system, NCIC, and they don't have two currently.
Motion.
second. Motion by Turpin, second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and then I've got Rock Hendricks. He's worked for us for the past few years, and I would like to rehire him as park and seasonal help.
He left on good terms, right?
Yes.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Ranshaw, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and then I have Dale Keith. I'd like to recommend we hire as an operator at our road department. He would be able to start in 2 weeks with notice.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, and second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on then into our department reports. First, the road department, you've got a copy of the road work request. No speed limit changes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to approve by Strunk, second by Ranshaw. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
While we're on the road department, have you looked in the shortage of help they have over there?
That's why we just hired Dale Keith for one. Yeah.
But we need additional
So
ones.
we're looking.
Talk to the guy about trees.
Okay. I just wanted to follow up on that.
All right.
We definitely need help over there.
Yeah, we do.
Next item then will be our jail. We've got Mr. Rod Dick here to speak on behalf of our jailer.
Fellas, I got a couple of things to bring in front of you. First, we'll pass along with Anthony. He had some family obligation, and he wanted me to pass along to y'all that he had planned on being here, but had some things to come up. So the first thing, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe or a month ago, we had to advertise for some kitchen equipment over there. Tilt skillet. It was ran through the paper. There was one bid that came back on this, Martin. It is from Central Restaurant Products out of Indianapolis for a total price of $27,500. And obviously, I mean, when you're feeding 300 people over there, we need to get this fixed if we can, and we would certainly ask for approval from the court on this.
Is that what you were projecting it was gonna cost
I
before you put out
think actually it
bids?
came in just a little bit and under.
Motion to approve the bid.
Second.
Motion by Rancho, a second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Okay, the second thing I have is a contract with the state on programs that we have going on over there for inmates. Martin, I'm sure you probably were involved in the way that they legislate, they redid some of the things this past session, or maybe the session before, and it's kind of a win for the county jails, but obviously, the state, with the programs that we have, like substance abuse, anything like that, it has to be approved by DOC. And all of, we're certainly in compliance with that. And they put in a little incentive package that for every program that is completed over there by an inmate, if it knocks off 30 days, if it credits their sentence 30 days, there's a $300 bonus that comes back to the jail. If it's 60 days, there's a $600 bonus. If it's 90 days, there's a $1,000 bonus. And obviously, you know, that's a windfall for us, and we would certainly ask that you all give us approval to enter into that contract with the state.
Motion.
second. We have a motion by Turpin, a second by Strunk. Any further discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ron.
Thank y'all.
You all can see, when you get your budget reports, that is under House Bill 556 receipt code, and it has gone above and beyond what we had projected.
Next item then, fleet maintenance. Frank's got a bid for approval.
We had one bid come in for the hydraulic dovetail that we put out for bid, and it come in at $44,835. It's a used trailer.
Would they be coming out of this year's budget or next year's budget?
Oh, I'm sorry. It depends on when we get the invoice. Do you have, I mean, it will probably be next year's, because it's almost, we're to the point where we have almost closed out. We have some checks. As you saw, we have a bill list that goes through today, some payroll, but we don't have anything
Couldn't pay no more bills this year.
correct.
Is there a current line item that would cover this expense in the new budget?
New equipment,
Okay,
absolutely.
we'll go on the new equipment?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Motion to buy it.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I was just gonna make mention the worldwide CAECO deal that we do on the MAX. I think we made almost $250,000 over our purchase price this year
That's a good deal.
between the 4 trucks.
250.
Yeah.
You know, Judge Wright tried to get us down there to do this for years. and we
Years.
were kind of leery of it. And once
Absolutely.
we started, it's been a win-win.
Yep.
Now, here again, speaking of which, Frank, hold on for a second. They're gonna try to do the single axle again.
Yeah, good deal.
We had that option because here again, we got the one truck that was wrecked the other day.
Yep.
And we're still without another tandem, so that's an option if you all want to get a couple of single axle constantly need
I
the
think
trucks.
they've got a couple slots that we could get in and maybe get one by December if you all wanted to do the Keiko deal on the single axles.
I think it's a good deal. I think it's turned out to be a great program.
The difference between the single axles and the tri-axles is the single axles is a 3-year term though. We would keep those 3 years instead of every year.
Yeah. I mean, Judge Wright, he swore by them. I mean, you remember that.
Absolutely, and we all said if it's,
No way. How can
there's
you
no
buy a
way,
new
it's too good
truck
to be
and-
true.
Yeah, and make money on it in a year, but it works out good.
And this has been our best year to
So
date.
you're talking about purchasing three more of those,
The same thing, the lease,
That'd be the
leasing them,
lease.
the same,
leasing them, and,
the same
and then-
program we're doing now.
right, but
It's a little aggravating,
something
taking them
that-
back to Alabama and all
is,
that, but it's worth it.
is that something that should be a decision of the incoming judge at this point?
That's you all.
Well, no, that would be, if
I
it,
know that, but I'm throwing that out there.
It's not an organizational
Because we're
thing,
gonna
it's-
be adding more trucks to
No,
our fleet.
no, we're not.
Okay, what are you talking about, selling the ones we got and buying new ones?
Okay. We've been doing this program for a long time, Mark. Every year, it's a yearly lease program. Every April, they take the two at solid waste,
Two at solid
and 2 of
waste,
ours,
2 road.
every year to Alabama. Worldwide sends us back 4 trucks in the springtime, so it's a rotating, it's an annual thing. Now, if you heard him correctly, we had approximately $140,000 in each truck. Now, listen, they auctioned off for 250-some thousand a piece. It's 100-some thousand, we made 100-some thousand off 4 trucks.
You're saying something I already know. I'm talking about this new single axle program I'm not talking about what you've already done.
That's up to you all.
I'm talking about what's.
That's up to
yeah.
you all. If
Do
you don't
we-
wanna do it, don't do it.
Do we already have single axles?
if I understood Frank correctly, this would be something that would need to be done by December, so that would be under the
Well,
purview.
It would actually have to be done now to be able to get it by December.
Right, okay.
Because it
So
would
that would
take
be
that
under
long.
your all's purview.
Yeah, it would
So-
take
so
that
we're
long to
talking-
take delivery.
How many single axles do we have currently in this lease program?
We don't have any.
Zero, they don't offer,
We don't
Okay.
have them.
it's new.
So if we don't have any in this program right now, that means how old are the ones we do have?
We got 2 that's 2005, 1 that's 2008, and 1 that's wrecked. It's a 2017.
Okay, so my question is, are we looking to
3.
start this program for single axle, or are we looking to take the trucks we got and replace them with new single axles and take those down there to be auctioned off?
We would get rid of the single axles that we have
Yeah, we
now
could
and
sell
replace
those.
them with those others, is
can.
that correct?
The 17's gonna be totaled.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come back.
It's gonna get replaced.
So if you all want to try this
Try a couple or
and
something.
just see how it does, I mean, that's the only thing is,
There's not as big as market on the single axles as they are the tri-axles.
Yeah.
So they probably won't bring as much when you do take them back, because the tri-axles is what your companies want. That's what's happening here.
Well-
See, we're buying these as state contract bid, and these companies, like your big hauling companies, are buying these trucks, trying to get them cheaper than a new one, because it's basically new.
Yeah.
But the single axles are not as popular, I don't think.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the reason for the 3-year plan. That way, they're kind of marketing toward counties that don't want to buy new
Yeah,
with that.
yeah,
So we own the current single axles that we got, right?
Yes.
yes.
So,
We don't have a lease program with them.
no.
right.
They didn't offer
Right.
that
But they're
forever.
so antiquated, that's, maintenance is horrendous on them. Now, the only downside of the tandems, and this is why we had to get a couple of more white, small trucks, is they don't push snow.
No.
Now,
That would
the
be the
single
thing.
axles do offer
Yes.
that, to be able to push snow. And in our areas, and when I'm talking about the big snows that fortunately, we've had to deal with, fortunately, right? And done a great job because of you all, is our big trucks is what gets us, to places like Providence, down in Flatwoods, Garland Bend, Blue John, Dixie Bend, Omega. That's when we have to have our big trucks,
The tandem truck.
the tandems, and the single axles. But that's the only downside of the worldwide with the tandem program is they don't come, we can't push snow with them. And that
But
puts
with
us,
these single
You can.
axles, we can.
yeah.
I mean, honestly,
They allow us to put the plows on them.
They do, they come
Okay.
with a plow and a
That-
spreader box.
Okay, just, that's a question, because I know something that we had, we could not put a plow on, so. I just-
Yeah, the specs that they sent me actually now
Excuse
show
me.
it's got a plow and a spreader box
Got
on
it.
it.
So they'll come with them on there.
Yes.
Okay.
So how many are you proposing that we add under this new program? One for each district?
I mean, you could, yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I'd rather wait until till we look at everything after the first of the year, and then make that decision. And, but, you know, if you guys wanna do it, go ahead, I'll go along with you, but I would prefer us to wait till after the first of the year.
Well, I think
Or
we're
try
down
one.
2 or 3 trucks right now. I mean, we
Well, the
need dump
insurance
trucks.
company will pay for the one that's been totaled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're looking, I'd
We-
say it'll be a year before we can replace it.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, it's been,
You can't just buy
It's been
trucks.
like 9 or
That's
10
how come this
months
program is so
since
good
we
on
wrecked
reselling
the
them, because you just can't
I
go
know,
buy
but
a new
if we
truck.
ordered to replace the
We
one that was
tried,
totaled out,
like one or two.
we'll have it by the time the insurance money gets here.
No,
no,
So
it'll
if we
be,
do this lease program, it's still gonna take how long to get the truck?
December.
December.
If we do
December,
it
we'll
now,
have it in
it's
time to
December.
push snow.
cause to see the way they've done it, they, like, between Worldwide and CAECO, I think they've already got the build slots locked up for the CAECO program. And we can get into that, but I don't know if we can buy it out, I'd have to ask.
and essentially, you're not gonna have a truck mark in your district.
Can we look at it and, can we table it till next meeting
Sure.
and still be in underneath the window?
I don't know if we'll lose the build slot or not.
Huh?
I don't know if we'll lose the build slot or not.
How many do you want? How many do we need?
Sounds like 5.
I would try to, because what's gonna happen is,
I wouldn't get a full.
I wouldn't, but see, what
county
you'll,
full of
what
us
you'll
try
do
it.
is, when you take them at point in time, you'll be able to blend it with the tandems, and the tandems and the Mack will offset whatever it is, because,
The single axle's for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Instead of
Yes.
one. Yeah.
So, another question,
We take them after 2, because
yeah, we're taking them after 2
because we take the ones we have now
every year.
every year, but it's a 2-year lease. But we take it every year, and that way we have always, except that one time we took it the wrong time of year, we've always gotten top dollar.
so another question I have for you,
Oh, yes.
we own our current ones. So now we're looking into another lease program. Is there money in the new budget for
These are interest only, so it's minimal. Is it worked into the budget? No, the answer's no on that. I can tell you that. Is
there a line item that's available for that?
there is. Excuse me.
Or is there, or we'll just go into equipment?
Is there something that we can work it into? You would probably,
We'll have some insurance money coming.
we'll have some insurance money,
Well,
And-
you'll have to sell the other trucks too.
That'd make
and we'll
the,
sell the other trucks.
make the interest payment.
And for instance, the ones we get now, we pay $26,000 a year on. Now, I know that
Triaxles.
the triaxles.
Okay.
And all of them. And the thing is yes, I know that sounds like a lot of money just to me is Joan Q. Public, in the grand scheme of our road fund, it's not. So if we had the insurance, between the insurance money that we would get and also money from the sale of the trucks that we currently own, it would more than cover, or should more than cover the amount of interest payments we would have, probably for the full 2 years.
So we would sell to and lease to.
That, of course, is entirely up to you.
I make a motion, we go ahead and go with 2.
Second.
We got a motion by Wilson, we have a second by Strunk. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
I will say this, I will have to double check to see if we can get 2 build slots, because I just know of 1 right now. But I'll check on that.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Next in, we have our treasurer's report. A few items for us, Joan.
Oh, yes, I have a lot today. We've made it through another year, guys. We have the last bill list. As you know, we always do a second bill list at the end of the fiscal year to get everything in. So we have just a very small bill list for your approval.
Motion to approve the bill list.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
Any opposed? Got opposed, so let's do a roll call vote, please.
Turpin,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Branshaw,
No.
Strunk.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next item I have is the second reading of a budget amendment. We did have the first reading on May 24th. So this, and then it was approved by the state local finance officer, and it has been returned, and we need to have a second reading. It's increasing the general road, jail, LGEA, fire, and 911 funds by $3,626,290.
No changes from the first reading to the second reading?
No, sir.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Strunk, and second by Wilson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have budget transfers. There are quite a few. They are in every fund. Basically, this is housekeeping to make sure all our line items are within their amounts.
We have a motion to approve those.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Strunk. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next, excuse me, can't get over this. The next item I have is the second reading of the county budget for 22-23. You've had we had the first reading on 5/31/22. It was approved by the state local finance officer on 6/22/22. And today, we need to have the second reading and thus adoption of the budget. And no changes from
Motion.
what we had.
Have a motion by Strunk, second by Wilson. there any further discussion?
Yeah, due to me voting no on the first reading because of the fire fund situation, I'm still gonna vote no on this one. Just for the record, why I'm doing it.
Let's go ahead and take a roll call vote then.
Turpin,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Ranshaw,
No.
Strunk.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Joan, thank you very much.
I'm not done.
Okay, you did a good job with the budget.
Thank you, I
Well
try.
done with that.
Yes, thank goodness, I try. The next item I have, and it's, it's two different pages because they are a little bit, different. The first one is a fund transfer to the road fund from the general fund for $150,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Rancho. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And those are fund transfers, and they go from, obviously, like I said, from general to road. The next item I have are transfers between funds, which means it's moving money on paper rather than moving cash. So that's how they differ from the fund transfers. And I have those, due to the way the state requires it done on paper, there are from the general fund, $400,000, and they go to the road fund and 911, 350 to road and 50 to 911.
I have a question.
Sure.
If we're moving it from general fund to road fund and 911 fund, isn't that just a regular transfer? A budget transfer?
No.
Or shoot, well, we just got
Fund-
that. A fund transfer.
It isn't, because this is moving it on paper, it's not moving actual cash.
Okay.
We have a
Motion.
motion by Rancho. Second. Second by Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Any opposed?
And Mark, I agree, it's a very roundabout way to do it, but this is what's required by the state, and trust me, if I didn't have to do it that way, I would definitely not. So that's all I have, gentlemen, this year. Thank you for another great year of budget. Yay, it's over.
Right, well, we've got, no citizens have signed up to speak today, so with no further business, we take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Wilson. Second by Strong. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you all. Motion carries.